As promised, Republican Congressman Ron Paul of Texas joins us right now on Varney & Company. Congressman, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for you joining us.
Thank you very much.
Surprise, surprise, sir. We don't want to talk about the Federal Reserve. We don't want to talk about financial reform. We don't want to talk about gold. No. The issue we would like to talk to you about is the issue raised by Senator Bunning, which is you want to spend money. He says you've got to pay for it. And just because he has backed off a little, I think that issue is still with us. Would you have stood side by side with Senator Bunning if you were a senator?
It's hard to say exactly what my tactics would be, but my position, philosophic position, and my vote would obviously be with him. I will not vote for anything that's not paid for. Haven't done it in the past 10 years or so, so I wouldn't do it now. But I have a little question on how you get the support for something like this, and I've worked with the assumption that if you're going to cut back and you want to get your house in order, you don't go after unemployment benefits. What you go after is some wasteful spending overseas. Like right now, we're going to spend $1 billion on an embassy in London. It makes no sense. So I would have a position of priorities, but he is absolutely right. Debt is the monster, and we have to do something about it.
Do you get the sense that we're galloping towards a crisis where we're going to be called up short because we're spending so much, borrowing so much, such a huge deficit, that really we're on the same road that parts of Europe are going down at this moment?
Yes, and we'd be a lot worse off if we weren't a giant. We have a giant economy. We still have some wealth in this country. We've had the world currency. We have a powerful military. So we get a free ride, and we've had it. But that's also the reason why we have such a gigantic bubble. But we are much worse off than we've ever been, and the world's been much worse off. But just because Greece is bad, it's just because, and we get some benefit from that. You know, they want to get out of Greece or out of the euro, and they come and take the dollars. But that's all temporary. The numbers are horrible, and we are on our way to a real disaster, I believe.
Can you put a time frame on it? I mean, it seems to a lot of people that we're getting pretty close to the crisis. I mean, this year, next year, would Congressman Ron Paul put a time frame on it?
Not really, because in Austrian economics you can predict trends, and we did predict the correct trends about the housing bubble when it came about. But nobody in the Austrian School of Economic Thinking says, oh, I know what date it's going to be. It's going to be on September 2008, something like that. So the foundation has eroded. It is going to come. But then again, all of us have to make judgment calls, especially people in the investment business. But I think if we'll be lucky if we can go 2 or 3 more years without a currency crisis, which means that we're going to have a lot of inflation and we're going to have disruption a lot worse than we've seen already.
Congressman Paul, this is Charles Payne. You've been out in front on this. You know, everyone tips their hat to you. And by the way, congratulations on the straw poll at CPAC. I don't know if you're going to run or not, but certainly you must feel like you want to run. I think, isn't that part of the problem? You just hit the nail on the head. If we keep saying that eventually it's going to be a problem, everyone thinks inflation was going to be a problem this year. That's why gold is up. That if you start talking about maybe 2 years down the road, we just relax as a nation and there's no sense of urgency to take care of the problem now.
Right, and I'd rather be early than late. You know, I got worried about this in 1971 when Bretton Woods broke down, and so I did the foolish thing of buying gold systematically at $35 an ounce. So, you know, if your theories are right, you don't really get hurt. You should insure it's against the catastrophe that is coming, but like we said, we're getting awfully close to it because you cannot maintain a system. If you could, none of us would have to work. We'd just let them print the money and we'd all be wealthy. So the time is coming. It cannot be sustained, and some adjustments will have to be made, and the debt will have to be liquidated. The debt will have to be liquidated for us to get back on our feet again. I've
got literally 30 seconds left, Congressman Paul. In that time, will you give investment advice to our viewers, and is that investment advice buy gold? Is it?
Well, I'm not supposed to be in that business. I'm in the business of
I don't care. What's your advice?
Well, I'll just tell you what I do. I think gold is a good insurance policy, and I personally buy my gold to protect my family.
Well, you tell it the way it is. Thank you very much, Congressman Ron Paul. A pleasure. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you.